Hello folks. I want to talk to you today about giving thanks. And by that I mean giving thanks for material things. Yeah, Thanksgiving can be about family, it should be about family, but it should also be about the things that we have in our life and giving them the proper appreciation. You see, I believe that if you do not acknowledge something, you give it power. And we see a lot of people not acknowledging just the riches in their life. And this is really what drives them more and more towards greed and fighting each other on Black Friday over things. I heard once that the people that really appreciate food and love food and make a ritual of eating really don't get fat. It is the people that eat when they're bored or eat while watching television, not tasting what they're eating, that are the problem. So in the same way, I think that, all these people, blogging on MacBook Pros from Starbucks about the evils of capitalism and materialism, they really don't appreciate the riches that we have. Think about it. I mean, in my grandfather's time, people would starve to death. Now it's very hard to starve to death. The biggest problem, one of the biggest problems the poor have is obesity. Think about that for a while. I mean, the poor are getting really fat, and that's causing a problem for them. Again, I don't think that they're appreciating the stuff that they have, and they're letting that stuff have power over them because of it. I'm asking everyone to literally wake up and smell the coffee. Just something as simple as a cup of coffee. Do you actually appreciate it, smell it? I mean, it's wonderful stuff. It's a little bit of heaven on earth. And if you're just guzzling it, I mean, what's the point? So, take your cup of coffee and actually smell it, appreciate it, and give it the proper power that it deserves. And, think about it. Today we are going to complain about eating too much. Well, there are people in places like Venezuela, North Korea, and Zimbabwe that would love to have that complaint. We do not think about what things were like. We do not think about how far we've gone. We complain about the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. Really? Yeah, I might not have the latest game system, but you know what I also don't have? Polio. My kids will not get polio. My grandfather, when he first had my father, could not say that. But now my kids are being raised healthy in a house with central heating, with enough food on the table, and things like this. I mean, this is not the most cutting edge cell phone, but think about it. I mean, I did not have this even in college, not even the first few years, first decade I was working. But now with a cheap cell phone like this, I can communicate with almost anybody on the planet if I want to. I can access more information than existed in the Library of Alexandria. I can, share stories, communicate, reach out to the world, and people take these things for granted. People just, take a look, again, getting back to the coffee. Take a look at the people, buying those overpriced coffees at places like Starbucks. And they're on their cell phones, not tasting the coffee. They're complaining about things. They don't realize what they have. This is the type of thing. What I want people to do is to look around them and realize, okay, I've got all this. I mean, if you're watching this, you are connected to the internet. Maybe you have Netflix, maybe you don't. But who doesn't have an HDMI TV now? Well, back in my day, I remember watching on black and white television with no remote control. I was a remote control. Don, go change the channel. We had like 3 channels, ABC, NBC, CBS, and maybe 1 or 2 other stations that showed reruns of Petticoat Junction, stuff like that. Now if I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, not only can I get on the internet and maybe watch a video of something, on YouTube, but I've got tons and tons of DVDs around the house. Who doesn't have a DVD player now? So, and back in the day, 2 o'clock in the morning, the television station shut down. I could read a book because we always had books around the house. That was, we were encouraged to read, and I could. But now, if I got jet lag or something like that, I have got entertainment coming out the wazoo. Do I appreciate this? I try to, but people, they complain about being bored. They don't realize how it used to be and how much richer our lives have become, and how much richer every decade, every year we've got more and more. We don't sit down and appreciate things. Just this right here. This was one of the last presents my wife gave me. It's just a simple, Bluetooth enabled speaker. I can keep it around the house while I do dishes or anything like that. Do you listen to music? Do you sit down and just appreciate what we have? Another thing, what I try to do every day is I try to find 5 things that I am thankful for. So far today, I've thought about it. And one of them was, of course, a friend who was willing to watch the cats if we were going to go away for Thanksgiving. I appreciate that friend a lot. I appreciate having tangerines. I read a book back in the day about how, this was a special treat for this kid in the book, and it was a special treat back in the day in Japan. They only had it on January 1st generally because it was so rare. Now we can have it practically every day of the year if you want. I appreciate, and this is going to sound strange, but think about it. Soap. Not just soap, think about it. Hot water. That's great. I've had to take baths without hot water, and having it is great. I spend a little bit more to get the scented soaps. And yeah, taking a shower with this is wonderful if you take the time to realize just how great it is. So yeah, again, I won't go through the other ones. I made my point, but take the time to appreciate the material things in your life. Do not let it have power over you by denying that. Appreciate the coffee. Sip the coffee. Let the aroma waft over you. And then, have that gratitude. Gratitude is the virtue from which all others come from, as far as I'm concerned. If you're not thankful, then you're probably going to be pretty petty, and you're more likely to punch somebody in the face to get $10 off a toaster tomorrow, Black Friday. So that's what I want people to do, is just take time today, look around the house, realize central heating. Wow, what a great thing. I lived in houses in Japan that didn't have central heating. Yeah, we did have heat, stuff like that. There are people out there that would love to have the lifestyles we have right now, and yet we are not satisfied, and that makes us bitter people. If you take the time to realize what you have, you're probably going to become a better person. And you're probably going to be a better person for the family and the friends and such that we're all going to be coming in contact with as the holiday season goes forward. Whether you call it Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or winter solstice. Now is a time to start appreciating everything in our life, and the start is with physical, material things, so that we don't let that have power over us. Happy Thanksgiving, folks. Appreciate the turkey.